hopeful and encouraging with gentle wisdom, like a trusted friend sharing a secret garden they discovered. Warm without being overly enthusiastic, grounded without being pessimistic. What if I told you that making your first $1,000 while you sleep isn't about grinding until you burn out? It's about planting small seeds and letting them grow. I'm not talking about getting rich quick or launching some massive side hustle that eats your weekends. I'm talking about real, passive income, the kind that quietly builds in the background while you're living your actual life. Here's the truth nobody tells you. Passive income isn't really passive at the start. There's a setup involved. But once it's flowing, that's when the magic happens. Let's talk about what passive income actually is. It's money that comes in without you actively working for each dollar. You do the work once and it pays you over and over. Or you set up a system that earns while you're doing literally anything else. The beautiful part? You don't need thousands to start. You don't need to be an expert. You just need to understand a few key paths and choose the ones that fit your life. Let's start with the easiest one, high-yield savings accounts. I know, it sounds boring, but hear me out. Right now, some online banks are paying 4 to 5% interest. If you park $2,000 in one of these accounts, you're making about $8 to $10 a month doing absolutely nothing. That's $100 a year just for moving your emergency fund to a better home. It's not life-changing money, but it's a start, and it's completely safe. Next up, dividend-paying stocks. This is where things get more interesting. When you own shares of certain companies, they share their profits with you. Every quarter, money appears in your account. You don't need to be wealthy to do this. Many platforms let you buy fractional shares. Start with $50. Pick stable companies that have paid dividends for decades. Companies like Coca-Cola, Johnson & Johnson, Procter & Gamble. They're not exciting, but they're steady. And steady is beautiful when you're building something that lasts. Let's say you invest $2,000 in dividend stocks, averaging a 3% yield. That's about $60 a year, $5 a month. Add that to your high-yield savings, you're at $15 monthly now. Still not $1,000 yet, but we're building, slowly, sustainably, like planting a garden. Now here's a path that takes more upfront work, but can really grow. Digital products, things you create once and sell forever. Think templates, guides, presets, spreadsheets, planners. If you have a skill, anything from budgeting to graphic design to organizing, you can package that knowledge. Sell it on Etsy, Gumroad, or your own simple website. Price it at $10 to $20. If you sell just 2 a week, that's $80 to $160 a month. The work happens at the beginning, creating the thing. But once it's out there, it can sell while you sleep, while you're at your day job, while you're on vacation. I know someone who made a simple budgeting spreadsheet, spent 1 weekend on it. She's sold over 300 copies at $15 each. That's $4,500 from 1 weekend's work. Let's talk about index funds. This is long-term passive income. You're not day trading, you're not watching charts. You're investing in the entire market and letting time do the heavy lifting. Funds like the S&P 500 historically return about 10% annually on average. Not every year, some years are down, but over time it grows. If you invest $3,000 and add just $100 monthly, in 10 years you could have over $20,000. That's growth you didn't have to actively manage. Once you have enough in there, you can live off a small percentage without ever touching the principal. That's when it becomes true passive income. Another option, peer-to-peer lending. You lend small amounts to people or small businesses, and they pay you back with interest. Platforms like Worthy Bonds or others make this accessible. It's riskier than a savings account, but potentially more rewarding. You can start with as little as $10. Returns range from 4 to 8% typically. Spread your money across multiple loans to reduce risk. Think of it like being your own tiny bank, not for your entire savings, but maybe a small portion you're willing to put to work. Here's something tangible: cashback and rewards credit cards. If you're already spending money on groceries, gas, bills, why not get 1 to 3% back? This only works if you pay off the balance every month, no exceptions. The interest will eat any rewards if you carry a balance, but if you're disciplined, free money on purchases you'd make anyway. $500 monthly spending at 2% back is $10 a month, $120 a year. It's not huge, but it stacks with everything else we're building. Some people rent out things they already own: a parking space, storage area, camera equipment, tools. Platforms make this easy now. You're not creating new work, you're making money from things sitting idle anyway. Someone parks in your driveway while you're at work. That could be $50 to $200 a month depending on location. Let's do some math. If you combine several of these strategies with modest amounts, here's what your first $1,000 could look like over a year. High-yield savings on $3,000 at 4%, $120 annually. Dividend stocks, $3,000 at 3%, $90 annually. One digital product selling twice weekly at $15, about $1,560 yearly. Index fund growth and dividends on ongoing contributions varies, but let's say $200 in year 1. Cashback rewards, $120. Rent out something once a month at $75, $900 annually. Add it all up, you're looking at nearly $3,000 in your first year. And here's what's beautiful: year 2 is easier. Everything you set up keeps working. The compound effect is real. Your dividend stocks buy more dividend stocks. Your index funds grow. Your digital product library expands. Each income stream feeds the others. This isn't about quitting your job next month. It's about building something sustainable, something that grows while you're focusing on the life you actually want to live. Start with just one stream, master it, then add another. Don't overwhelm yourself trying to do everything at once. Slow growth is still growth. Maybe you start with moving money to a high-yield account this week. Next month, buy your first dividend stock. 3 months from now, create that digital product you've been thinking about. Small steps, consistent action. That's how you get to $1,000 in passive income, and eventually much more. The world tells you that you need to hustle harder, sleep less, sacrifice everything. But what if the real path to financial freedom is quieter than that? What if it's about setting things up wisely and then letting them grow while you actually live? That's the kind of wealth that feels good, the kind that doesn't cost you your peace. Your first $1,000 in passive income isn't a fantasy. It's a series of small, intentional choices, and it starts with just one seed planted today. So, what will your first stream be?